Hello, everybody. What is going on? Dr. Jock here with the Wellness Way in Pittsburgh. Boom, Wellness Way here. So what are we going to be talking about today? A very, I don't want to say necessarily controversial, but a very important topic that we've been talking about, and patients have been coming in over and over again asking this very same question is, how early or how young can I test my kids for food allergies? I literally just had a patient walk out and ask that same exact question. And so I have a patient who, she was a patient of ours in Texas, and her daughter was awesome. She's like the cutest little girl like ever. But basically, she had reached out because her daughter was having some skin issues. So anytime you're dealing with skin issues, the first thing we want to take a look at is the gut. We want to look inside and we want to figure out what's going on. And so she had some different reactions that were going on, and her mom was treating it topically with coconut oil because she knows that coconut oil has great antifungal properties and it has good moisture properties as well to try to keep the skin moist. And I know it's not a really comfortable word, but keep the skin moist as well as allow the skin to be able to heal. Now, when she reached out, she said, what can I do? First thing, boom, test those food allergies. It's the easiest thing to do and to get the results back the quickest. So we wanted to make sure we knew what exactly was going on in her daughter's digestive tract. So I was blown away. I'll be 100% honest. Hey, Doris, good to see you. I was 100% honest. I was blown away by what I saw on her test results. Reason being is because this girl is three years old, okay? 3 years old. So, side note tangent, people ask me all the time, Jock, or Dr. Jock, whatever you want to call me, doesn't matter. What would you recommend for me to lose weight or to be healthy? What's the one test that I would recommend for you? The number one thing I would recommend is to do a food allergy test. Why? Because every single person out there has food allergies. End of story. How do I know that? Well, first thing is, if you haven't been properly tested and you haven't been making any effort at all to correct your food allergies, then you're going to have food allergies. Now, there are people who have learned that they have food allergies and are doing something about it. All right. Now, when we think about allergies, the most common test that we think of is doing a skin prick test or testing what we call the IgE response. E, flashing gang symbols here. I don't know which one looks like an E to you on this vision here, but so IgEs, those are your anaphylactic responses. Those are your kids who will die if they eat a peanut or if they even smell a peanut. But did you know that the IgE response is only 1% of your immune system response whenever it comes to your food allergies, okay? I'm reading this directly. If you haven't gone to thewellnesswayclinics.com, there's an article on our website, thewellnesswayclinics.com, that is talking about your food allergies. So should I get my food allergies tested? Yes. So if you haven't gone to that, go to that website and you'll see exactly what I'm reading from here, okay? The different things that you could feel from having food allergies are earaches, mood swings, fatigue, dark circles on the eyes, asthma, canker sores, sinus issues, acne, eczema, brain fog, bloating, excess weight, headaches, or migraines. This is something that has become more and more apparent with everybody that I test because everyone has their own presentation to each of their food allergies. For me, black pepper ruins me. Dairy ruins me, okay? Garlic makes my skin really itchy. But if these little things slip into your digestive tract by any dose at all, it will cause an allergic reaction and it will be very difficult for you to get it out of your body. It'll make you exhausted. It'll make you bloated. I'll look like I'm 6 months pregnant. My wife is in her third trimester, so about 28 weeks pregnant if I'm keeping up with her. So all of these symptoms can come from something as simple as what you're eating yourself. So the most profound thing you can do for yourself, for your health, is to not just get adjusted, but get your food allergies tested, or else the amount of times you get adjusted will never accumulate to anything because you're constantly going to be throwing toxins into your body over and over again, and your nervous system and your immune system is going to have to be distracted by healing that, and you will never hold your adjustment properly. Not a good place to be. So going back to my little 3-year-old here. So I'm pulling up her list here. So we had the IgE response and we have an IgG response. So her IgEs were to whole eggs. So her anaphylactic reactions were to whole eggs. So guess what has egg in them? A lot of vaccines. So you think that if she got vaccinated, you would have a very negative reaction to those foods or to those vaccines. 100%. Would the doctors have any idea why the hell those reactions happen? Nope, because they're freaking stupid, nor do they even test properly. So going through your IgE, remember that's 1% of your immune system. And then this is what surprised crap out of me right here, was that she had 17 different IgG responses. 17 at 3 years old. 17. I know how food allergies hurt me. I know how they bring my body down, and I'm able to communicate what it's doing to myself. Try having a 3-year-old who's eating foods or who's rubbing coconut oil on her skin, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? She's allergic to coconut oil. So that very thing that she thought was doing good, and she's a great mom, don't get me wrong, but she just did not know what her daughter was allergic to. So she had bumps on her skin, she was rubbing coconut oil on her skin. It's just going to exacerbate or make the situation worse. Not a good place to be. So you have to get your food allergy tested to know what is even healthy for you. Whether it's a whole food supplement or whether it's something as simple as rubbing coconut on your skin. 17 foods. So she had almond on there, cantaloupe, cheese, coconut, corn, grapefruit, lemon, lime, onion, orange, papaya, pea, peanut, rice, sesame, tangerine, and walnuts. Do any of those foods sound unhealthy to the average person? Giving you the answer right here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely not. But if you have an allergic response to these foods, they are toxic to you in any dose. Toxic. They're killing your cells off. They're known as cytotoxic. Cyto is cell, toxic is, well, duh, it's toxic. So you cannot consume these foods. If you have a +1 on here, go ahead and remove these foods for 2 weeks and try to eat one of your +1s if you think the response is not going to be that bad. I dare you to do that. It will suck. I had one patient who, I forget what she had, she told me about this morning, and she went off, what the heck did she have? I don't remember what it was. But it wrecked her stomach, just absolutely destroyed her stomach. And she's only been on this, I think, for about a week and a half, maybe a week, where she's been avoiding her foods. When you remove that level of inflammation of the body, you get the true response of the food if you consume it. And if you consume it again, you will produce more antibodies to it, so it'll be a lot more difficult for you to introduce that food back into your body. Now, people tell me, Heidi just told on her mom. Yes, milk in coffee. Thank you for joining, Heidi. See, I don't make my stuff up. So yeah, she had a little bit. I forget it. She said not even just a lot, just a little bit of milk, and it was enough to turn her stomach. So all of these things are super important to make sure you avoid. There's no safe dose. There's no I'll do it in moderation. Moderation is just an excuse for you not to take action and improve your health. And if you have health conditions and you're like, well, I'm not getting any better, guess what? If you haven't had your foods tested, you're not going to get any better because you could be eating the healthiest thing. You could be eating almonds. You could have almond milk. I have a patient I'm working with ulcerative colitis who has an IgE reaction to almonds, and she loves almond milk. Guess how her gut's doing? She has ulcerative colitis. That's horrible. So basically, this whole snowball of what the hell that I'm talking about today is so vitally important to make sure you get your food allergies tested. There's not a single test out there that I would tell anybody else to do over this test. Now, x-rays are vitally important to assess the nervous system, but if we're talking about toxic overload in the body, and we're talking about you coming in here and handing me a Garden of Life supplement and saying, can I have this supplement? I'll say, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I had a patient who, she actually traveled in from Ohio again today, because I have a lot of my patients actually come from Ohio. She traveled in, she's allergic to cocoa, so she's allergic to chocolate. So she's been doing pretty decent with her health, but as they've been progressing here, they're noticing little things, or like little things that are just kind of holding them back from getting and leaping forward in results. And so they changed the label on one of her products. It's a Nikken product, which is actually a pretty good product. But she was looking through that, and one of the number one things that was in the ingredients there was cocoa, and she's allergic to chocolate. So that's something that she had to eliminate from her body, and her body was able to respond in a positive way. She's even using, again, this is some healthy stuff, Arbonne products. She was using Arbonne. She was using the fish oil from Arbonne, and then I think like a cream or something like that from Arbonne. And what she did is she started getting welts all over her hands, all over her feet. It was bad, and she was like, what the heck is going on? So she pulled off the fish oil, pulled off the other products she was using from Nikken, and realized that she was allergic to some of the ingredients in there. So these allergies can do all kinds of weird stuff to your body. Hands down, the weirdest stuff out there, from causing your fingers to swell. I call it the ring test. If you can't get your ring off your finger, okay, and it's properly, I just totally missed that, but it's properly sized, it's usually meaning you're going to have some sort of food allergy in your life. There are oopsie supplements you can take to kind of calm down the inflammatory response, but it's never going to negate the negative impact that it has on your health. So if you have not been tested, get yourself tested. It is the most important thing that you could possibly do for your health. I'm laying that down there. You can tell any other doctor out there that I said it. I don't give a crap, because they don't know how to test, because if they test it, they don't even know what the hell to do with the results anyways. Remove those foods so that way your body can be back to normal. So I'm seeing here, reading some comments, Doris, cut all the foods out. I'm starting to smell. I haven't smelled in 30 years. So Doris, cutting those foods out is going to help you eliminate some of those toxins as well. So that's going to be part of the smell. Not to mention, you're also going into a warmer climate too. So you're going to sweat a little bit more to get some of those toxins out here too. So Ashley here, now an unvaccinated child who recently starts food, say 10 months old, how long before you would test, and how accurate could the test be when their body is starting solid foods and could trigger their food? So here's the thing. A lot of times what I've noticed actually is that if the mom has food allergies, so basically when you give birth, you basically purge your digestive tract into your child. So any food allergies or any weaknesses that you have in the gut, and I get it to unvaccinated, that's fantastic. You're basically having like a one-up or giving your kid a one-up in life. That's awesome. I applaud you for that. Seriously, great job. When you're unvaccinated, that's good because it's not going to cause as much harm. It's not going to cause as much negative impact. Dealing with the gut, sometimes you can have some heavy metals that are going to be leaking in there, but you don't have that. Your kid's going to be a lot more pure. So it's going to be important to make sure you're getting proper breast milk in for the child as well. Let me read this. Recently starts food, say 10 months old. How long before you would test? So here's the thing too, is different kids work at different levels, or they work at different speeds. So if you're having different foods introduced into the digestive tract, it's going to be vitally important to make sure your kid's digestive tract is properly formed. It's very difficult to kind of test that. I mean, we don't, as far as I know, we don't have a test to test how the gut is doing. You can do a stool test, but that's kind of young to do that. I usually tell people to wait about a year or so before introducing solid foods. Try breastfeeding as long as you can, so that way you can give your child the best digestive tract out there. Now, if the mom has food allergies, you're pushing those foods into your child, whether it's through breast milk or whether it's through just having the child naturally. So any of those food allergies that you may have had, or if you're eating foods or you're eating dairy, a lot of women will eat dairy, and not that you would actually, but I'm talking from experience from one of my friends. She was eating dairy all the time, and her kid kept having digestive issues. They had to give it like little baby Gas X to try to help with reducing the inflammation in the gut. So you can be passing those foods on, and if you're allergic to them, you're passing more inflamed foods or more inflamed antibodies off to your child, so they can also develop that same type of reaction. In terms of how accurate the testing would be, it's always going to be accurate because it's a blood test. So the blood test is going to measure for any antibodies that your body or your child's body produce to any of the foods. So you can't really trick it. You're measuring antibodies. You're measuring the blood response to the foods that you're introducing in. Actually, my patient just asked me too, is when would you test the child? And I said, well, as soon as you're going to give the child real food or whole food, I would absolutely test the food allergies before you introduce the solid foods in, otherwise you can cause more harm. And I know there's it's kind of like an elimination diet type adding of foods. You start with one thing and make sure there's no bad reactions, then you go to another, then you go to another. But I like concrete evidence, knowing that before I even feed my kids something, I want to make sure they're not going to develop an allergy to it. If they already have an allergy to it, I want to make sure I don't cause any harm, so that way they grow and develop properly. And like I said, my wife's in the third try, so she's going to be breastfeeding as God willing, as long as she's able to. Try to get to that 1 year mark. Then absolutely, before we feed solid food to the kid, we're going to make sure we get the food allergies tested. So I hope that made sense. I'm in like a hyper mood right now, so I don't know if you can even hear me clearly. Did that answer your question there for you, Ashley? And I'll read this other one here from Annie. If you can't afford any other tests, get the food allergies done. It's the most important because it's your body. Yeah. So Annie, well, I'm waiting for Ashley to write back just to make sure that answered that question for you. Annie, that's 100% right. The food allergies, I always joke around and say it's the best worst test I've ever done. It's the best because it makes the most profound impact on your health, and it gives you confidence in what you're putting into your body. And the other thing too is that it's easy to you ultimately are the one who is in control of what you put into your body. So if you get your food allergies back and you're allergic to the food, but you still put those foods into your body, you have nobody to blame but yourself if you're allergic to it. And if you're not doing well, stop eating the darn food. I mean, it's super easy. And if the baby is colic, allergies, yeah, if the baby is colic, allergies are good to get tested. Oh, 100%, yeah. Colic, number one thing I tell women to do with colic is to stop the dairy. 100% dairy, bread, Usually the colic will start to go down a little bit. Milk, just by its own nature, is very, very, very inflammatory to anybody, to humans. Milk and eggs are tough. So try to avoid those. Try to avoid those sugary snacks too. I know a lot of people, when they have kids, they get inundated with like horrible food because everybody's trying to buy them food. And we've got delicious bakeries in Pittsburgh. I mean, don't get me wrong. Number one is Heidi's up there. She actually she works with Gluteny Bakery. And if you haven't been to Gluteny Bakery yet, get your butt down there. Even though she burst my bubble the other day and told me that everything was made with like rice flour, I'm allergic to rice, so it tastes good, but I can't have it. But she actually got voted, I think it's 6 years in a row, best in the burg for Gluteny Bakery. So get down there if you like your sweets. She's also doing a vegan Sunday. I think it's May 20th. She's doing a vegan Sunday. So if you're still on here, Heidi, feel free to post that. Excuse me. Feel free to post that on there. But yeah, if the baby's colic, yeah, absolutely get your baby tested, get yourself tested too. Again, if you're breastfeeding, I feel like it's vitally important too. If you're a mom and you're breastfeeding, get your food allergies tested. So again, you're not passing more inflammation, basically antibodies off to your child, who's also going to develop allergies to the same things that you have allergies to. And so that way the baby sleeps better and gets the nutrients that it needs. May 20th, vegan Sunday from 10 to 4. So, again, Heidi's been on here, and I know Doris has been on here. I go off on tangents all the time. So I'll probably still be down there. I know she's got some things she told me that doesn't have rice flour in it, so I'll probably snag those. Plus, my wife's not allergic to rice, so I can get her some stuff too. Just be a nice husband. Actually, if you're still on here, like I said, feel free to see if that answered your question. If not, just feel free to shout out again. But ultimately, again, wrapping this up, because I do have to go home. My wife was awesome and bought me a grill, so I have to put that together and make some chicken tonight, because we're not allergic to chicken. But basically what I wanted to reach out and say is that there's not a single person on the planet that I wouldn't tell to get a food allergy test too. If it's the only test that you can afford, like Annie was saying, then by all means get it. If you can't even afford my care or our care, just get the food allergy test. It's so important. I mean, I had 20 foods that I was allergic to, and I work on myself all day, every day. And the foods that I was eating, from sweet potatoes, white potatoes, garlic, black pepper, all those things cause massive harmful reactions in my body. And I know that they do, because if I add them in, I feel like garbage. And most of the time, I want to fall asleep. So think about that. I mean, think about all the people who are out there who are eating their food allergies, who don't even know it, who are tired all the time, which means their productivity at work is going to go down. They're going to be sucking down caffeine, which is going to cause your adrenal glands to produce hyper amounts of cortisol. That production of cortisol is going to cause, in women, it's going to cause progesterone to go down. Progesterone is going to go into cortisol. Cortisol is going to cause your body to be more inflamed. You're going to hold more weight, and then you're going to decrease your thyroid function. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to get fat. You're going to gain weight. You're going to be sluggish, and everything else is going to fall apart in your body. Just had a random, I don't even know who just said that. It may have been me. I don't know. But that's super important here. And so actually we're back. Yes, we have 5 almost 6 kiddos. When we had our first, he reacted to dairy in your diet. Did an allergy test. He had eggs and sunflower, no dairy allergy. Our second son had tons of fruits and veggies he was eating. We waited until 9 or 10 months before introducing foods to him. 3 of our kiddos haven't been tested yet, but we try to keep dairy and gluten free as much as possible. 3 of our kiddos we have had to give goat milk due to me ending up preggo during nursing. I couldn't keep up anymore when sick in first try. Our goal is to retest everyone. Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. So if you actually go on the Wellness Way website, I don't know if they have it or not, but there's actually a Wellness Way breast milk blend, more or less. It has like coconut milk in it, and it's very, very, very healthy for you. As long as you don't have any of the food allergies to what you'd be, or I guess as long as your kid doesn't, you could formulate your own breast milk. Goat's milk's great too, but it's kind of sour compared to other things, but you can make it taste good as well. But just a general rule of thumb, keeping dairy out, eggs out until they're old enough to be tested, wheat, gluten, obviously gluten's in wheat, and then any soy product. You don't want to have anything like that. You don't want to feed your kid from like a BPA plastic bottle, or else it's going to feed in and can increase your estrogens and stuff for the children. It's going to be important. I don't know where the heck I was going at. Dairy gluten free, yeah. The other thing too is, and I'm learning more about this, is glyphosate, which is basically the ingredient in Roundup that's tearing apart digestive tracts all around the world, because Monsanto sucks. But if you have, there's a product that I'm actually trying out on myself right now. It's called Restore, and it's supposed to help with restoring your GI tract. So it's something that I'm going to keep you guys. I'll keep you all posted, but I'll keep my patients posted too. But I don't ever give my patients something that I don't put my stamp of approval on. So I'm putting myself through my own trial right now, more or less. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Actually, I don't know if I'm sure your husband tells you you're an awesome mom. Congratulations on having so many kids too. That's so awesome. I told Megan I want a small army, and I don't know if she's going to give me one, but I still love her for it either way. So, anyways, long story long, as always. Thank you for tuning in on this. If you have any information, because I'm trying to do more live videos for everyone, if you have something that you truly are passionate about or you're curious about, feel free to reach out. Shoot me a message, shoot me a comment on here, shoot me an email at structuredcairo@gmail.com. So that way I get it. So that way I can customize these shows, these live videos, or these live rants for you. I've got another one I'm going to be doing on ulcerative colitis probably tomorrow. Yeah, more than likely tomorrow. So if you haven't yet, like this, share this, and then if you want notifications when I go live, Doris knows how to do it. I really have no idea how, but that's how Doris is on every single time I'm live. I love it. So if you want to just be up to date with when I go live and everything, 5 boys and 1 girl lost testosterone. That is fantastic. That would be a perfect amount of children and boys and girls for me. Now, I'm getting a phone call from my wife. That's my wifey on there. So I'm going to sign off now. Thanks everyone again for tuning in.